Hello, hello, and welcome to the webinar for Attribution and Measurement on Pinterest. I saw a few of you have raised your hands as you've been joining. I assume it's just to say hello to me, but if it's not, please drop your questions in the Q&A and we can always help. Just a quick note before we start, please use the audio settings button in the bottom left corner to adjust your audio options, or open this meeting directly in the Zoom using the link that should be on screen for you now. And of course, checking out that password, pins 2024, exclamation point. My name is Jessie Cadle. My pronouns are she, hers, and I'm a senior creative strategist on our brand and creative solutions team. Today, I'm joined by two members of our measurement team, Patrick Kennedy, senior manager, and Michael Gomez, measurement lead, and by two lead industry managers supporting small business, Jaron Sandlin and JJ Greco. Over the next 45 minutes, they will be discussing some of the most common attribution models used today, which model you should use on your next Pinterest campaign, and some of the first-party measurement tools available to track your campaign success. If you have any questions throughout the webinar, we will be saving some time at the end for a Q&A. So make sure to note down your questions so you can ask them at the end of this series. And on that note, I'll hand it over to Patrick to kick us off. Oh, Patrick, we can't hear you yet. There you go.
Oh, good. Great. Thanks, Jessie. Hello, my name is Patrick Kennedy, and I'm the head of scaled measurement here at Pinterest. To kick us off, I thought it'd be good to get some context. In today's digital marketing landscape, the ability to measure and attribute the success of your campaigns is of critical importance. Gone are the days when you paid for an ad and had limited visibility into its performance. Now you can track every aspect of your campaign to understand who's viewed it, engaged with it, and made a purchase. But how do you make sense of all of this data to shape your future marketing strategy effectively? There are several ways you can do that, and today we'll be talking about two: measurement and attribution. Let's begin by defining each. Measurement is defined as the tools and processes we use to actually collect the data to track the customer's purchase process. Think of measurement as gathering clues. Tools like Pinterest Analytics and the Pinterest tag help you collect information or clues about how people are interacting with your ads and website. Each click, visit, and purchase leaves a trace, helping you form a picture. On the other hand, attribution is defined as the science of assigning credit from a conversion event to marketing touchpoints. In other words, think of attribution like assigning credit to these clues. Imagine each marketing touchpoint as a helpful sign that's leading customers to your store. Attribution figures out how much credit each sign deserves for the final purchase. For example, did your Pinterest ad spark interest first, or did your blog post provide the final nudge? Now that we understand the difference between measurement and attribution, let's take a closer look at attribution, specifically attribution models and windows. To do this, let's use an example. Imagine that you're a business that sells shoes online. You run a variety of marketing campaigns that provide several touch points that customers can engage with. One day, a customer named Sarah sees your ad on Pinterest and clicks on it. She visits your website to check out your products. She adds a few items to her cart. And though she doesn't make a purchase at this time, she sees you have a newsletter and signs up. A few days later, she receives a newsletter via email with a promo code link. She clicks the link on her phone, which takes her back to the website, and ends up purchasing several products that she had previously saved in her cart. As you can see, in this simplified example, there are 5 different touch points. But how do you know which one was the most effective in driving Sarah's purchase? This is where attribution models come into play. So what is an attribution model? An attribution model is a framework used to determine how credit is assigned to various marketing touchpoints in a customer's journey. It helps businesses understand which channels and tactics are most effective in driving conversions and generating ROI. By understanding which touchpoints contribute the most to conversions, businesses can allocate their resources more efficiently, identify areas for improvement, and maximize their ROI. Let's take a look at 6 of the most common attribution models used today and how they relate to our example with Sarah. Last click attribution. This model attributes all credit to the final marketing touchpoint before a customer's purchase. This model is widely used for its simplicity in identifying the marketing touchpoint that leads directly to a sale. However, it overlooks earlier touchpoints in the customer journey. For example, since Sarah made a purchase after clicking a promo code in the newsletter will receive full credit. First click attribution. This model attributes all credit to the first marketing touchpoint a customer interacts with. It's useful for understanding where the customer journey begins, especially in short journeys with fewer touchpoints. However, like last click attribution, it disregards the other touchpoints on the customer journey. In Sarah's case, the Pinterest ad would receive all of the credit for her purchase. Linear attribution. This model evenly distributes credit among all marketing touchpoints in a customer's journey. Unlike first or last click models, it offers a holistic view of the journey. However, this equal distribution may overemphasize the role of less impactful touchpoints. In Sarah's case, each touchpoint would receive equal credit for her purchase. Position-based. This model, which is also known as U-shaped attribution, assigns 40% of the conversion credit to both the first touchpoint and the last touchpoint. The remaining 20% is shared equally among all the touchpoints in between. This model prioritizes first and last touchpoints, providing visibility into where the customer journey begins and ends, while still acknowledging the influence of those in between. In Sarah's case, the Pinterest ad and the newsletter link would each receive 40% of the credit, while the remaining 20% would be split equally among the touchpoints in between. Time decay attribution. This model assigns more credit to the marketing touchpoints that are closest to the purchase decision. This helps provide a more nuanced view by giving more credit to the touchpoints that are closer to the conversion. However, this model can be complex to implement since it requires you calculate a specific decay rate to each touchpoint. Calculate and assign those decay rates. In Sarah's case, the touchpoints that happened closer to the purchase would receive more credit than those that occurred earlier in her journey. Finally, data-driven. The last model we'll talk about is the data-driven attribution model. This model assigns credit to each touchpoint based on its historical impact of conversions, providing a more precise view of the customer journey. However, it requires technical expertise to set up and to interpret compared to other models. In Sarah's case, each touchpoint would receive credit based on its past performance in driving conversions. As you can see, there are many ways you can track and attribute your marketing touchpoints. And I'm sure at this point you're asking yourself, so which one should I use? It's a great question. And the answer is, it depends on your specific business and marketing goals, as well as how your customers behave. For example, if you want to focus your efforts at the top of the funnel then using the first click attribution model would be of great value since it can help you pinpoint how customers initially discover your business. On the other hand, if your business deals with longer or more complex sales cycles, the linear attribution model could prove highly beneficial since it evenly distributes credit across all touchpoints, giving you a fuller picture of how various marketing touchpoints or interactions lead to conversions. Again, take time to consider the pros and cons of each of these attribution models and select the one that best fits your business needs and marketing goals. With that, we're going to pause for a second and address two questions. So hopefully you've all been listening along and will know the answer to these pretty quickly. So measurement involves collecting data, while attribution involves assigning credit based on that data. We know from what we've just discussed that the answer here is true. The way we think about measurement is around collecting that data, and attribution is about assigning credit to those touch points. The next question we have is which attribution model gives all of the credit to the final marketing touch point in the customer journey? Again, if you've been listening closely, this one's really easy. The answer is last click attribution. So in the name, all the credit is given to the last click, the last touch point prior to a conversion. With that, I'll hand over to Jared to talk more about last click attribution and some other topics.
Thank you so much, Patrick. Hi, everybody. I'm Jared Sandlin, and I'm one of our industry managers working with small and medium-sized businesses at Pinterest. Good chance that many of us on this webinar have actually overlapped at some point during your customer journey. Since Patrick actually just discussed this, let's dive a little bit deeper into last click attribution modeling. As previously mentioned, most advertisers and marketing channels use some sort of variation of last click attribution model to measure success, and it's the default for most of our third-party tracking tools. It's kind of easy to understand why. By using this model, we can really easily identify which touchpoint led directly to a conversion, and you avoid overlap with multiple channels potentially taking credit for the same conversion. However, using this attribution model is kind of like reading the final chapter of a book. You know how the story ends, but you don't really know how we ended up there, for example. Let's take the case of Sarah. So in our initial example, Patrick kind of walked us through several different touch points that Sarah took before finally making a purchase. First she clicked on a Pinterest ad after discovering your business. Then she explored your website, learned more about your brand, signed up for the newsletter, and then finally you sent her a promo code and she converted off of that promotion. With last click, the promotion received 100% of the credit because it captured the demand. But the conversion wouldn't have happened if you hadn't created the demand on Pinterest first. So it's this chicken and an egg situation. Do you focus on generating demand or do you focus on capturing the demand that you've already generated? Given Pinterest's unique user behavior, using last click attribution models isn't ideal in this situation because unlike linear customer journeys, users on Pinterest are in discovery mode, seeking inspiration and ideas, which often leads them to explore other channels for deeper research before making a purchase. Relying on last click attribution misses some of that crucial information about the customer's early journey when you're generating the demand. So since most of the discovery process happens on Pinterest, last click models usually underestimate or entirely overlook our influence on generating demand and conversions. There's several reasons for why this under-attribution occurs. The first one is that it paints a very skewed picture. So we just kind of discussed this with Sarah, but relying solely on last click touch points can really overlook the importance of earlier interactions in building brand awareness and attracting new customers. It also prioritizes capturing demand that already exists, but it overlooks the platform that generated the incremental demand. It also entirely disregards ad views and ad engagements. So for example, if you first discover a product through seeing an ad on Pinterest, but later you make a purchase using a search engine by clicking on a URL, the credit typically goes to the search engine, not the initial ad that somebody saw on our platform. And that's because third-party analytics tools cannot know who sees an ad but doesn't click on the ad in a data-secure platform like Pinterest. The third reason is that site analytics tools often don't distribute conversion credit to sessions that go beyond 30 minutes. So if a user is really interested in your product or your website, or they remain inactive for more than 30 minutes, a conversion will not be attributed to the ad click that actually brought them to the site. And then finally, conversions across devices, publishers, and browsers will be lost. For example, if you click on an ad on your phone, but then later you make the purchase using your computer, the phone ad will not receive any credit for that conversion. I'll give you a good example in this case. I actually recently bought a mattress, and those are pretty big ticket items. So I discovered the brand that I eventually purchased through an ad on my phone. But it's such an expensive item that I felt really comfortable making the purchase on my computer. So later that week, I actually completed the purchase on my computer, which in that case meant that the brand didn't get any visibility into me actually seeing the ad on my phone first. So it kind of creates a disjointed customer experience and measurement solution. So with that in mind, what are some ways that we can track multiple marketing touchpoints and get more accurate data? One of the best ways and easiest ways is to use UTMs. So UTMs stand for Urchin Tracking Modules. They're little bits of code that you can add to the end of a landing page URL in both your posts and your ads. And these help really track where traffic is coming from. So if you're advertising on Pinterest, but you're also, for example, sharing links on social media and within newsletters, UTMs allow you to differentiate between those different sources of traffic. And each UTM code includes parameters like source, medium, and campaign name, which help you identify where visitor traffic is coming from. So for example, if I have a business and I have my normal domain URL, you can put some of these little snippets in the back half of the URL after your normal.com. And this will inform your third-party tracking tool, exactly where the campaign was originating from, which ad or post the user actually clicked on, and the source. So, Pinterest versus Google, for example. That way, instead of just seeing where someone clicked on your website link, you'll know that they came from Pinterest. You'll know which campaign generated the demand and which ad generated the demand. And then using that information, you can really understand which channels are driving the most traffic and conversions, allowing you to make more informed decisions about your advertising strategies. Creating UTMs is also really simple if you know where to look. There's actually several URL builder tools available across the internet. So I recommend just using your favorite search engine. Type in UTM builder. You'll find lots of things that come up. And in those UTM builders, it's going to ask you for things like the website that URL is going to be used on, the campaign name, for example, or the ad name even. And that will really help you minimize errors, which is really crucial because even a single typo within some of these URLs can affect how conversions are attributed within your analytics reports. All right, with that said, let's answer 2 more quiz questions. First quiz question is, why is using the last click attribution model not ideal for Pinterest campaigns? Is it that it paints a skewed picture? It disregards ad views and ad engagement interactions? That conversions across browsers, publishers, and devices will be lost? Or is it all of the above? All of the above. So we kind of talked about this with Sarah's journey, but it only credits the demand capture side of the house, not the demand creation side of the house, so it paints that skewed picture. Third-party analytics tools can't know what's happening on Pinterest without actions. So they can't track who sees an ad, for example. That's proprietary information that we don't share. So third-party analytics tools cannot know who viewed an ad. And then finally, if somebody saw an ad on their phone, completed a conversion using their computer, they won't be able to cross-track those. Next question is, using UTMs can help improve your marketing strategy in what way? They decrease cost of running online ads. They help create personalized content. They help track which channels are driving traffic, or they improve brand awareness and recall. Okay, it's that they track which channels are driving traffic. And this will be really helpful because it allows you to understand exactly which channels are generating traffic, and it gives you a more holistic view of what a consumer journey looks like. So you can use some of those different models that Patrick talked about earlier. Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much. I'm going to pass it over to Michael to talk about first-party solutions within Pinterest.
Cool. Thanks, Jared. Hi, everyone. My name is Michael Gomez, and I'm a measurement lead here at Pinterest. Now, as you can see, attributing conversions can be tricky, but one thing is clear. You want to engage the right audience and drive action with your ads. On Pinterest, the actions people take with your ads can provide valuable insights. With that said, let's talk about user action hierarchy. On Pinterest, you can attribute 100% of the credit to the most valuable ad interaction taken by each person who checked out or completed the desired action. To achieve this, Pinterest has ranked these user actions to help assign conversion credit. First is the view. Views are important, but don't necessarily correlate with a person taking action. Just because somebody sees your ad doesn't mean they take action just yet. Next is engagement. Engagement means saving a pin, for example. The action shows a higher level of interest from the person. Lastly are clicks. Clicks are given the most credit on Pinterest. This is because historically, clicks indicate a higher level of intent from the person and have a higher probability of converting. Think of it this way. Imagine you're walking down the street and you see a friend from afar, but you don't say hi. That's a view. Now imagine you went up to them to say hi to them. Now you're engaging with that person. If you then decide to meet up for drinks or continue catching up, then that is a click. Remember, Pinterest only counts each conversion once, and it gives credit to the strongest action that occurred within a given attribution window. Did the person click on your ad and visit your website? If yes, that's recorded as a click conversion. Was there no click, but the person saved the ad? If yes, that's recorded as an engagement conversion. Was there no click and no save, but the person saw your ad? If yes, that's recorded as a view conversion. Taking into account how Pinterest is a discovery platform and people start their discovery process early in their journey, it's no surprise that we see people search on Pinterest before they search on other platforms. In fact, at this stage, many of them don't even know exactly what they're looking for yet. They're searching for ideas and inspiration, not specific brands or products. This can be valuable for new businesses and brands starting to advertise on Pinterest because 96% of top searches on Pinterest are unbranded. This means your business, brand, product, or service has a higher chance at capturing people's attention, even if they haven't heard of you before. However, this early exploration also means that it takes longer for people to make a purchase decision on Pinterest. But it pays off. Our high intent audience of weekly Pinterest users has a 40% larger cart size than shoppers on other platforms. As a result, it's crucial to adjust your marketing strategy accordingly. And although the purchase lifecycle varies depending on the product, for example, buying a t-shirt might happen relatively quicker than buying a couch. It's important to note that the buying process on Pinterest naturally takes longer due to the extensive time people spend discovering and researching within and outside the platform, regardless of what they're buying. So with that in mind, implementing a wider attribution window can help you see the bigger picture by capturing how people interact with your ads over a longer period of time. With this data, you can get a more accurate measurement of your campaign's true impact. So what are attribution windows? An attribution window is the period of time between when someone interacts with your ad and when they make a purchase. So for example, let's say you have a 7-day attribution window. This means that if a customer clicks on your ad and then makes a purchase within 7 days, your ad will receive credit for that conversion. However, if the customer clicks on your ad but doesn't make a purchase until after 7 days, let's say 10 days, the ad will not get credit for that conversion. The length of the attribution window will greatly influence how campaign performance is measured. So selecting a longer window, let's say 30 days, can help you get a better look at how people engage with your ads during that time period. By stretching the time during which conversions are tracked, you can more accurately capture actions that don't happen immediately after someone clicks, engages, or views your ad. So let's take a look at on Pinterest and other measurement tools. You'll typically see numbers like this, 3031 or a 771. So what do these mean? Well, they tell you the attribution window for clicks, engagements, and views. Let's take a look at the attribution window we recommend you use on Pinterest, 3031. The first number here is clicks. If the conversion happens within 30 days of a person clicking an ad, then that ad will receive credit for the conversion. The second number is engagement. If the conversion happens within 30 days of the person engaging with the ad, for example, saving, then that ad will receive credit for the conversion. And the third number is views. If the conversion happens one day of the person viewing the ad, then the ad will receive credit for the conversion. So to summarize, using a 3031 attribution window means that you'll see conversions that happen one day after someone viewed, or 30 days after someone engaged or clicked with your ad. As we discussed, unlike other platforms where people tend to convert quicker, people research for days and weeks before finally converting. This is why implementing a longer attribution window on Pinterest is important. Short attribution windows might only capture a part of the customer's journey. But with longer attribution windows, you can capture the whole journey. By capturing these indirect yet crucial moments of influence, a longer attribution window gives you a more accurate picture of your ad's impact. Let's take a look at a real-life example of how attribution windows can impact the way data is measured. Honeylove, an apparel company, worked with their measurement partner Measured to test the effectiveness of Pinterest for full funnel marketing. They ran a geo-test with conversion and awareness ads and found that Pinterest drove 2x more incremental value than what they saw with a 7-day window, and was better estimated by using a 30-day window. This showed the team that a longer attribution window was the best way to measure Pinterest. If they only looked at results for 7 days, they would have accidentally missed capturing a significant amount of Pinterest impact. These test results immediately prompted Honeylove to double their entire Pinterest ad spend for the following quarter. Cool. So let's move on to a few more questions. What's the correct user action hierarchy on Pinterest from highest to lowest credit? Is it click, view, engagement, view, click, engagement, or click, engagement, view? And the correct answer is D, click, engagement, view. The purchase lifecycle on Pinterest is longer than other platforms. Is that true or false? All right, this one is true. In fact, this is why we recommend you use longer attribution windows for your Pinterest campaigns, so that you can more accurately track the full funnel purchase lifecycle on the platform. And now with that, I'll pass it over to JJ to cover the final section of our webinar.
Thanks, Michael. Hi, everyone. My name is JJ Greco, and I'm a lead industry manager here at Pinterest. So now that we've covered attribution, for our final section, we're going to switch it up a little bit and talk about the tools that you can use to measure these attributions and your campaign performance. So the good news is that Pinterest offers several built-in measurement tools that will allow you to track this. These built-in measurement solutions are also called first-party solutions. So in other words, these are tools developed and provided by Pinterest directly. They include Pinterest Ads Manager, the Pinterest tag, and then Pinterest API for conversions. These tools offer visibility into all actions taken with your pins and ads on Pinterest. So let's go over each one of these tools in a little bit more detail. First up is Pinterest Ads Manager. So this is where you're going to go to review your campaign performance on Pinterest. You can think of it as your Pinterest advertising hub, a one-stop shop for campaign setup, reporting, and ultimately optimization to improve performance over time. In fact, we recommend starting your measurement strategy by leveraging insights from reporting and Ads Manager. You can then use these insights to help optimize your current or future campaigns. Next up is the Pinterest tag. So the Pinterest tag is a simple piece of code that you add to your website. It allows you to track the actions people take on your site after being served an ad on Pinterest, which helps you measure the effectiveness of your Pinterest campaign. There are 3 ways that you can implement the tag. You can do it manually by adding the code to specific pages on your site that you want to track. You can email the instructions to a developer who can then install it for you. And then lastly, you can use an integration partner to help with its implementation and tracking. So if you're a business that's tight on resources or you don't have access to a developer right now, we highly recommend going the route of using an integration partner to implement the Pinterest tag. Another first-party measurement solution we offer is the Pinterest API for conversions. So similar to the Pinterest tag, the API for conversions allows you to connect your website or app to Pinterest, helping you track how ad interactions lead to site actions, and provides valuable insight into how your campaigns are performing. It's our best practice to use both the Pinterest tag and the conversion API to maximize conversion visibility. The API for conversions can be implemented in 2 ways, either direct integration or through a third-party integration partner. Typically, the direct integration involves the help of a developer. So if you wish to go this route, we recommend using the Pinterest developer platform, which is developers.pinterest.com, or checking out our Implementing the Pinterest API for Conversions course on Pinterest Academy, which can help guide you. However, the easiest way to set up the API for conversions is through a third-party integration partner with a partner that you might actually already use today. So platforms like Shopify, Adobe Commerce, Salesforce Commerce, they all give you the option to install the API for conversions automatically with just a few clicks during setup. So once more, if you're a business that's short on resources, you don't have access to a developer at the moment, we recommend using one of these integration partners to set up the API. As a new advertiser, we recommend you leverage some or all of these first-party measurement solutions for several reasons. First up, comprehensive reporting and analytics. Pinterest offers a suite of campaign reporting and analytics tools specifically designed for the Pinterest platform. They're going to provide insights tailored to our unique audiences and ad formats, ensuring that you gain valuable understanding as to how your advertising is performing on the platform. Second up is really cost effectiveness. So for businesses with limited budgets, using Pinterest built-in measurement tools is a cost-effective option, saving you money that you can then allocate to other parts of your advertising and marketing strategy. Last is faster access to insights. So a lot of third-party solutions don't offer real-time insights, whereas Pinterest is going to offer you real-time insights, allowing you to optimize your strategy on the fly as soon as you get that data. For advertisers with higher conversion volume, Pinterest does offer more advanced first-party measurement tools so that you can get a deeper insight into your advertiser performance. These tools include Pinterest conversion analysis, which is going to allow you to analyze user journeys and understand the actions people take, like purchases, after interacting with your ads. Pinterest conversion lift. So with a Pinterest conversion lift, you can measure the incremental impact of your Pinterest advertising on conversions compared to people who didn't see your ads. And then last is Pinterest brand lift. So with a Pinterest brand lift, you can understand how your advertising is influencing metrics like brand awareness and perception among your target audience. All these tools leverage Pinterest's own data, offering accurate and reliable insights specifically tailored to the Pinterest platform. If you need even greater scalability in advanced analytics, you should consider the following third-party measurement tools alongside your first-party data. First up is marketing mix modeling, or MMM. So with MMM, you can analyze the impact of various marketing channels, including Pinterest, on overall business outcomes. And then second is multi-touch attribution, or MTA. So MTA attributes conversions to different touch points throughout the customer journey, including Pinterest ad interactions. With all this said, while leveraging first and third-party measurement tools can be a great strategy, it's important to effectively combine these different perspectives to holistically understand performance. So you can kind of think of it as like looking at a cube from different angles. Both views are going to be accurate, but they're going to provide a unique perspective. So to gain a full understanding of your campaign performance, you're going to need to reconcile data from both sources, both from your third-party source as well as from Pinterest. You should consider the following when using first and third-party data together. First off is to leverage Pinterest data. So Ads Manager will provide insights about your Pinterest campaign that you're not going to find anywhere else. One critical one is view-based conversions. Given the very visual nature of the Pinterest platform, it's highly important to have insight into how view-based conversions are impacting your campaign so that you can holistically understand how your campaign is doing from a performance standpoint. Second, you should supplement third-party insights with first-party insights. Third-party data might not fully capture the unique aspects of Pinterest platform, which can lead to misinterpreting results. So it's really critical to compare and contrast data from both sources. One really specific example is that many third-party tools use a really short attribution window, which might miss the longer buying journey often seen on Pinterest. So with that, you need to be sure to adjust your attribution window in that third-party tool to align to what you're seeing in Pinterest to help reconcile it. By using both sets of data, first and third party, you're going to be able to gain a deeper understanding of your campaign's performance and be able to optimize your strategy to see the best results overall. In conclusion, by utilizing Pinterest's first-party measurement solutions and strategically incorporating third-party tools when needed, you can gain an exhaustive understanding of your Pinterest advertising performance. Remember that data reconciliation is going to be key to ensure accurate insights and ultimately informed decision-making. We highly encourage exploring the resources that we have available, including the Pinterest Help Center, as well as Pinterest Academy, which will help you learn more about our measurement tools and our overall best practices. So before we wrap it up, let's do our final 2 questions here. First up, which first-party tool serves as a one-stop shop for creating, managing, and reporting on Pinterest campaigns? The correct answer here is B, Ads Manager. So this is going to be your main tool to create campaigns, report on them, to optimize for more advanced insights, pretty much everything. This is going to be a critical tool for you in your Pinterest advertising journey. Second and final question for you guys is true or false? Which first-party tool serves as a one-stop shop? Oh, sorry, I just did that one. Ads Manager provides unique insights like view-based conversions that you're not going to get anywhere else. And that one is true. So there's going to be a lot of things that you're only going to find in Ads Manager, making another reason why that's going to need to be a key reporting and measurement platform for you as you advertise on Pinterest. So with that, I'll pass it over to Jesse for some Q&A.
Great. Thanks, JJ. And thank you to all of our speakers today. And since y'all out there have answered so many questions for us, it's time to turn the questions back over to our lovely panelists. We know we've covered a lot of information, so let's take a look at some of the questions from our audience today. And to answer the most asked Q of the webinar, yes, we will be sending out a recording of today's presentation so you can pass along to colleagues or just rewatch and hang out with us anytime. So on to the real measurement-based questions. First up, is the data-driven model also called multi-touch attribution model, or are the two different? So Patrick, I'll hand that question over to you.
Great, thanks, Jesse. It's a good question. These two things can often be interrelated. So data-driven attribution model more specifically refers to the kind of methodology behind it. It's one that looks at historic trends and conversion rates and tries to associate them with what it believes are the most effective and impactful touch points along the journey. Multi-touch attribution can be used in a number of different ways. It doesn't refer to that specific methodology, but can be encompassing of any approach that would give credit to more than one touch point. So first and last click are examples of ones that are single touch attribution, whereas multi-touch could include data-driven attribution or linear or time decay or positional. We might also use it within the industry to refer to third-party providers who have a multi-touch attribution approach, again, where they're using DDA, data-driven, or one of those other multi-touch attribution models like linear, time decay, and positional. So it's a good question, a little bit tricky, always worth checking with the person who said it, that you and they are talking the same language.
Absolutely. It's also hard to keep track. Everybody uses slightly different language. So just trying to find the right solution for you and the right methodology that works for your brand. Thanks, Patrick. Next up, do I really need to worry about attribution models? Can't I just track my sales? Great question. Michael, I'll hand that question over to you.
Thanks, Jesse. Yeah, this is a great question. So simply tracking sales provides a limited view. Attribution models can really help you understand how different channels influence your sales, and so you can focus spending on the channels that are delivering the best results. So altogether, you don't necessarily, but it is highly recommended that you do, so that you can get the most out of your performance and, of course, the money that you're putting into your budgets.
Makes sense. And Michael, I'm just going to keep it right on you with another question. What if my customers take different paths to reach my brand? How do I know which attribution model is right for my business?
Yeah, this one's a little bit more tricky because there's no single best model that works. It's not a one size fits all. The customer journey varies. And so understanding that there's different attribution models per, different channels that you use is the tricky part. So it's just really understanding what you use each channel for that you could set different attribution models for. So for example, businesses with longer decision-making processes can benefit from using a longer attribution window on Pinterest. And you really just have to kind of gauge that for the other channels that you use in your mix.
Makes sense. Thank you. Basically, no right way, no wrong way, just lots of things to test, learn, and find what's right for you. So next up, do I need a special program to create UTM codes, or can I do it myself? Great question. Jared, I'll fire this one over to you.
Perfect. Thanks, Jesse. You do not need a special program. My recommendation is jump to your favorite search engine, type in UTM Builder. That's going to come up with a ton of different options. They're very simple to use. Essentially, what the builder tools are going to request is information about where that URL is going to be used. So for example, it might ask for, what's the platform that you're going to use the URL on? In this case, it would be Pinterest, for example. And then it might ask, is it an organic post or is it a paid post, meaning an advertisement? You might say, this is an advertisement, so it's paid. And then the next question might be, what campaign are you running this ad in? Maybe it's a retargeting campaign or a spring prospecting campaign, for example. And then finally, you could go as deep as saying, okay, this ad is my lifestyle image ad versus my product image ad. And then that will turn in your URL that goes to your website, and it'll add all that information into the back half of the URL. Usually it says like www.yourwebsite.com, and then it'll have a little question mark, and it'll add all of that information into the back half of that question mark. And then that is the URL that you are going to copy, and you will put it into Pinterest in your landing page for your ad or your organic post. And then all of that extra information that you put in goes straight into your third-party analytics tool. So you don't need a special program. All of the websites are free. Just type it into your favorite search engine, UTM Builder.
Wow, I didn't know that. Lots of UTM builders out there. Try it right after here. And Jared, I'll hand this next question right back over to you as well. So people on Pinterest are mostly just browsing for ideas, not necessarily ready to buy right away. Does this mean that my ads won't work or perform?
Ooh, good question. No, it does not mean that. So I think there's a really good way to understand this is the way that I was explaining demand creation versus demand capture. So a lot of our advertising on last click, especially, for example, which we discussed earlier, is on the demand capture side. So these are generally people that, have already considered the brand, they are aware of you, or they're making a really fast decision. Pinterest can operate in that modal. You've probably seen a lot of our products come out in the last couple of years around like shopping campaigns, dynamic retargeting campaigns that will land a pinner directly onto a product that they've already looked at, for example. But there's also a lot of value in generating demand. And that's usually where the most incremental demand comes from. It's people that would not have purchased from you already. And then they're in this discovery phase. So they might be searching things like bedroom on Pinterest. I'll use my mattress option. Like, you are a mattress provider and you want to inspire somebody to buy your brand, you can capture them, or you can generate demand while they're in that discovery phase and they haven't made a decision yet. And that drives a lot of incremental value through your platform. So Pinterest is one of those rare platforms where you can both generate demand, meaning that you can introduce people to your brand early on, and then you can also capture it using some of our lower funnel tools like shopping, dynamic retargeting, and those pieces.
Thank you. That's so helpful. Thanks, Jared. Next question up, is a 30-day attribution window right for every business? How do I know which attribution window length to use on Pinterest? And Patrick, I'll hand this question over to you.
So 30-day attribution window? Yeah,
Yes.
so it's a really good question again. Again, it kind of depends on your business. So a 30-day attribution window is giving you the broadest understanding of the impact that's driven by touch points. We typically do recommend a 30-31. So as Mike from my team discussed, that's giving 30 days window for clicks, 30 days for engagement, and 1 day for view. We tend to recommend that as the default. Because with Pinterest, people are spending more time considering and researching the topic, a 30-day attribution window is the best approximate of what's being driven by your marketing on the platform, as was exemplified from the example from Honeylove, where we matched that up to a geo test, and we randomly assign different geographies and look at the difference in impact that's been driven. And we found that drove best aligned with the 30-day window for them. So it's not right for every business. I've worked with gaming apps in the past, and people tend to make very quick decisions in that space. But as a default on Pinterest, we see 30-31 as best aligning with the true outcomes for the business.
That makes sense. Thank you so much. What's right for someone might not be right for everyone, but 30 days, good place to start. We have time for one final question. So for this one we'll hand over to JJ. What kind of insights can I expect to see in Pinterest Ads Manager? JJ, over to you.
Yeah, so you really can see everything, for lack of a better word, right? So all the basic metrics like impressions, clicks, engagements, conversions, and really critical to know, like, you probably work with a third-party analytics tool that, shows you conversions, right? There are going to be some sort of types of conversions that you only see in Pinterest, specifically view-based conversions. That's something that, while you could see technically across both platforms, there's certain ones you're only going to be able to see in Pinterest. So all the basic like media metrics to kind of analyze how your campaign is doing. And then on top of that, there's a lot of cool interfaces that will kind of peel back the curtain as to, what your audience is doing. Like if you have a first party audience of purchasers, for example, how do they use Pinterest and what interest groups do they fall in? So there's a lot of interesting dashboards that can kind of provide insights to inform what your paid strategy should be. And so there's a lot of different nooks and crannies of Ads Manager, but you're going to get all the basic media metrics and some cool interfaces that will provide some insights for you.
Thanks, JJ. So everyone go check your local ads manager, go check out your Pinterest Ads Manager and get more familiar with that product. And that's a wrap on our attribution and measurement on Pinterest webinar. As a reminder, as I said, we'll be sending a follow-up email with a recording of this webinar as well as additional resources. Thank you again for joining us. I know an hour is a long time of your day. We really appreciate it and have a great rest of your day.